Jess.fm. Voice only. Ride along.
There we go. We got this new recording started. All right, guys. It is the 4th episode. Jess.fm. I am so excited to be back with y'all today, and I cannot believe that I've gone 4 days in a row with this brand new brainchild. I am just so happy to be able to record another video. So, have you been watching? Have you been watching and keeping up with the episodes? I mean, all full episodes are on our channel at Jessisms. Make sure you subscribe and keep up. Clips. I haven't uploaded any clips today from those prior episodes, but I will as soon as this car is not moving, because I obviously want to stay safe. But guys, like, this is so super cool to have the opportunity to stick with something that you want to start. I appreciate anyone who wants to motivate me to keep going, anyone who wants to comment topics you want to talk about. Again, this is free form. This is unscripted, unedited thoughts from a girl in everyday life, living in this world just like you. So I am super, super excited to be here on Thursday. And guess what? North Texas? The rain finally slowed down. All week I've been complaining about the rain, and here we are. Beautiful sunny day here in North Texas. We did have rain this morning, but that storm passed over. And look, I think there's more in the forecast, but until then, I am so appreciative of this sunlight that I'm seeing in somewhat clear skies. I still see a lot of clouds in the sky, but all in all, I am extremely excited about the weather. So look, I just left an event, a networking event, and y'all, I almost didn't go, because let me tell you why. As much as you hear my bubbly tone here on this radio show, I am a little bit of an introvert. I like to call myself, actually, and quote the rapper for me who said this, that they are an introverted extrovert. I think that's me. I am someone who can turn it on when I need to, turn it on when I want to, but if it's unwarranted, I am so to myself and in my creative brain, it's not even funny. Growing up, I referred to myself as shy because my mother told me that I was a shy kid, and I think part of my psyche kind of never let go of that and maybe has carried over into my adulthood. So I don't really know if I'm shy or not, but I definitely have shy tendencies. And so when I'm invited to things like networking events, I get extremely anxious, because when I show up there, I'm like, well, who's going to be there? And if I don't know anybody, okay, what am I going to talk about? I could come up with some like generic conversation, but once we are done talking about weather or sports, like, what am I supposed to talk about? I kind of run out of things to say, and it just gets awkward. And as much as I can avoid that feeling, I try to. So it's just super interesting to me that I went to this networking event, right? And I was so anxious at first. And guess what? Like, at the end of it, it was okay. I'm actually driving away from it now. Like, and I'm fine. I didn't die. So I had to remind myself that just being myself is all I need to do. And quit overthinking it. Like, I have to stop overthinking it. So if you hear yourself in this description of me, like, know that you're not alone. Leave me a comment. Tell me, how do you overcome social anxiety in settings where maybe you don't feel as comfortable? I'd love to hear from you and maybe try out some of those tips for myself. So all in all, it's Friday Eve, guys. I like to say there's no such thing as Thursdays. We look forward to Fridays. Obviously, those of us who have busy work weeks, we do look forward to Fridays. And so the day before Friday is the best day of the week, I think. Because by the time Friday is here, you're already celebrating. It's already good times. So, I hope all of you have enjoyed your Friday Eve today. I sure have, between that networking event and some other things that went on. And again, me being productive, which I love, I think this has been an awesome day and a great start to a wonderful evening. So get this. I have a new thing I want to try for our show. My thought is, and y'all tell me what you think, what if we covered trivia or things that happened on this day in a certain year? I think that'd be super cool for us to stay connected. And who knows, maybe we can make this like some form of a giveaway in the future. But let me give you an example of what I mean for today's first trivia. Did you know that on this day in 2007, the iPhone was released? Can you believe that? That many years ago, on this very day, Steve Jobs announced, Apple would be releasing the iPhone. And if you were there, which it's another one of those, you would have had to have been there. That was, I think, a time in history, to say the least. Now, I'm going to be transparent, and if you've listened to the prior episodes, you know this already. I'm an Android user. Always have and likely always will be. I've never owned an iPhone. I've never used an iPhone. In fact, like when someone with an iPhone tries to, you're exchanging numbers and like the person will hand you their phone and you like type your number in. The first time that ever happened to me, I was like, what is this? I don't know what is this? So I am not iPhone savvy. I'm not Apple savvy or nothing like that. A lot of it has to do though, because my husband, who is very heavy into technology, taught me about the benefits of Androids and the freedom that you can have with them, with different things you can download versus if you were on an Apple iPhone. So this is not a ad for Android or the ad for iPhones, but it's just a little fun fact that on this day in 2007, those iPhones were released. So I wanted to share that with y'all in this episode today. And like I said, should we keep this going? Should we do trivia to kick off our episodes each day? What do y'all think? Tell me in the comments what you think. And if we do a giveaway, what my thought is that, okay, I'll give the trivia, and but I won't give the year. And then you in the audience would have to comment the answer, and who knows, you could be a winner. So again, if you heard the other episodes, we're making this up as we go. We're building this show as we go. So I do want to hear from you. Would you participate in a giveaway? If I were to ask you that you to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment, would you be inclined to do so? Let's hear about it, and we'll go for more. But there is a lot of things going on for us to talk about. We could be on this show all day for several hours of the evening, but this is just for our ride home. So I try to keep our messaging very brief, very succinct, so that, if you're commuting with me, you have someone to listen to and chat with and holler at the speaker to on your way home, and then get on about your evening. But I do want to hit a few highlights, and, today was interesting. I learned a very fun, actually this is not fun. Actually, let me take that back. This is not fun. But it's interesting. It has to do with, some things going on locally here in Texas that I did not know about. And I'm wondering if you had heard about this, but apparently there are conversations happening in North Texas regarding Fort Worth ISD. And what I understand, y'all will correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about this, there is, some failing performance for, schools in Fort Worth. And as a result of that, the state of Texas may actually take over Fort Worth ISD. I've never heard of a state taking over a local ISD, but as I learn more about this story, at least in Texas, this has happened before. It's from my understanding that Houston ISD once upon a time wasn't performing well, and as a result, the state of Texas, took over the running of and or management of Houston ISD. And so this just intrigued me because when you think about our education system, we have so many layers and there's so many players in those layers. And to see that there is, a sector of schools that are not performing well, and apparently per, what I was, studying up on, this is not the first school year, this past school year that just ended, that they hadn't been performing at their best. And that's why, it's coming to, such a level. And so, I don't know if any parents, are listening from Fort Worth. Like, can you fill me in? What's going on? What's going on out there? Like, is the curriculum not thorough enough? Like, tell me, like, are the classrooms not fit for teaching? If you teach in Fort Worth ISD, are you not getting resources? Like, I'm just really interested in this story. And if you're not in Texas, like, does your state do this? Like, have you heard of your state taking over ISDs, local ISDs? I'm just super, super interested to hear that. And so that's something that's kind of going on in North Texas. I kind of want to follow that story and, see the outcomes. And I know a few educators or people in education, so I probably should just ask around. But y'all know how this show goes. We skim the surface and we share our initial, raw, unfiltered thoughts. So I have more questions, I guess, than answers. But really, really interested to hear anyone who, may have more insight into, this story. And other news here in North Texas, again, I guess this is just a North Texas day. A North Texas day for our episode 4, and I'll take it. I was driving earlier this morning to work and heard an ad for the Titanic exhibition. Y'all, apparently, again, this is not an ad. However, if you want advertising, let's talk about it. This is a brand new radio show from your girl right here, live in DFW. But long story short, the Titanic exhibition, the commercial that I heard sounds super, super interesting. I'm thinking about taking my daughter here, where apparently they have rebuilt scenes from the actual boat. And I say scenes, you could say rooms, you can say levels, what have you, but from the actual Titanic ship, including a room that has a giant, what is meant to be an iceberg, but obviously it's not a real iceberg because this is not on water, but there is this, I guess, huge ice block that is kind of like built into the room, and part of the exhibition or part of the intrigue and why they want people to come is to, kind of be able to put themselves in the shoes of those that, were lost on this historic sinking of a ship. I, like many of us late 80s babies, know about the Titanic because of the film. And I probably can recall, on the topic of teaching in school, so I probably can recall learning about it here or there in school too. But I think my most ingrained memory is from the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, and great movie, but the story of the Titanic is probably way more interesting than the movie. If you don't know about the ship and the intrigue of the ship and the people who are on the ship, like, you should really read up on that, because it's a very interesting story. And You can learn a lot, I think, of what maybe the movie doesn't cover in your own research. So if you're in North Texas, look for this Titanic exhibition. It might be a fun thing for you to do with the kids this summer, or you and yourselves. If you're into history and different things like that, it might be super, super cool for you. So I want to do my best to try to keep up with different activities to do. I like to stay busy. I like to hang out and have a good time, and in many different ways. I always tell my daughter, fun looks like many different things. And so if for you, when you think fun, you only think of one thing, diversify. Okay, look for things that maybe you've never done before. Listen out for suggestions from people. Look online. The best way, if you don't know what to do and you're bored and you're just like looking for things to do, the best way to find things is that I've learned. I'm interested in the comments if you all have other ideas and tips, but I always go on Eventbrite, because Eventbrite is going to have obviously events, tons of different types of events, large events, small events, and community events. And so, to nourish yourself and to diversify your fun, that might be something cool to do. And again, like if you're in North Texas, try the Titanic exhibition. I think it's only here for a limited amount of time. So just make sure you keep up with those dates. But all in all, that's a little bit about, how I kind of kicked off my day, learning about Fort Worth ISD, learning about Titanic exhibition. How about you? How did you start your day this morning? What's your routine when you drive in? Do you listen to music? Do you listen to talk radio shows like this? Like, tell me, like, what types of things do you do to kind of get your day started and to keep connected in your community? I'm super, super interested to know. And I'm still looking for any listeners who might also be in DFW. Like, I mean, come on. You can leave a comment for your girl. Y'all know who else I'm still looking for? Subscriber number 1. We're still sitting at 1 subscriber, which I love, because I didn't expect any. I was ready to just be talking to myself, just like I'm talking to myself in this car. But it's so cool to see folks finding this channel, finding this radio show every day. And, that's the kind of thing that, excites me and really makes me want to plan more, but still keep everything really raw, very unfiltered, and very just haphazard. Okay, that is on purpose. I'm looking for a lo-fi style. So get this. Y'all know I typically like scroll around things as I have free time in between the day. And I saw something that really had me like, does anyone ever, like, when you're in your scroll, you see something that like nearly frustrates you and you just immediately scroll away from it? Kind of like an anger scroll, like, you know what, I don't even want my eyes to see this, get this off my screen type of a thing. I do that. I do that often, and I had one of those moments today, y'all. Y'all did not tell me that your boy, the boy, because we ain't saying no names over here, or there's certain names we're not saying, but that a new album called Iceman is supposed to be being released soon. Did y'all hear about that? Now, if you heard episode 1, you kind of got a little bit maybe of what I feel about hip-hop as a whole. If you missed it, go back. It's up. There's some clips out there as well. But this album is on the tail of the biggest rap battle ever. And I will argue with you on that. Like, was last year the biggest rap battle ever? Yes. There's been arguments on, there was worse disses and this, that, and the other. I'm not talking about the disses necessarily, which, by the way, I think the worst disses were in this last battle. Even beyond some of the earlier battles that people will tout, Ice Cube, NWA, obviously Tupac and Biggie, and others, right? And people, Nas and Jay-Z, people will say, some of the things that were said in those battles were egregious, and I'm like, yeah, egregious is one thing, but when you really cut into the soul of somebody, I'm not talking about just insulting people. I mean, like, making them look in the mirror and face themselves. I haven't seen a battle like that before the one we saw last year. All right? And so why is any of this matter? Well, this album is being released by one of the parties in the battle that's not Kendrick. All right? Leave in the comments if you know who that person is. All right? And what I saw today that made me angry scroll was this. Apparently, someone by the name of Maul, who is a co-host of the podcast New Rory and Maul, which is I won't call it a spinoff, to be fair, but it is a grandfather product of the Joe Budden podcast. I will say that. It's kind of like grandfathered from the Joe Budden podcast. But in any event, Maul tweeted and people started sharing, because I don't follow him on Twitter, but, you know, people started sharing that he said something about Iceman has a bomb in it. That was the tweet. That was it. Iceman has a bomb or something like that. Y'all, I'm over it. I am so over the I know something you don't know, and keep being on the lookout. This guy, he's gonna release something that's gonna shock the universe. No, he's not. No, he's not. Okay? And if he does, would anybody care after that battle last year? I don't think so. And if anyone cares, would we care that they care? I won't. You know, like, we are well past the idea of that individual dissing anybody. All right? So whatever the bomb is, if it has anything to do with disses, I'm going to tell you right now, he can miss me with that. As a matter of fact, he can miss me with the whole entire album. I don't want it. Not until there's an entire not researching, but a kind of revision of one's soul. You know, like, this episode would be too long for my feelings about this artist to be expressed in just this kind of short, you know, episode 4. The battle is probably 90% about why I feel this way. Actually, no, I take that back. The battle was probably about 60% of why I feel this way about this individual. The individual's history, much of which Kendrick talked about in the battle, that I was shocked to see how many people didn't know or didn't realize. Yeah, like, that history of this artist is the other 40% as to why this album can miss me. Like, sometimes when artists have character flaws, guys, it's really hard for me to look past them in listening to their artwork. Why? Because I too am a creative. I know that when you create, you put your soul into things, or should, right? Unless you are copying something from someone else's soul. And if you're telling me that I should be able to listen to some music and disregard some of the character flaws that I've already known about and Kendrick kind of publicized last year, I can't do that. Not me. Now, y'all tell me in the comments, do you have the ability to, not just music, I want y'all to think beyond music. Do you have the ability to listen to someone or watch someone's work or support someone's work who you don't align with value-wise? Like, what does that look like for you? Because I'm super, super, super interested. Like, I know I'm, like, probably doing too much. And the fact that I'm like, just no, you can miss me with that. I don't want it. I don't want the album. That's probably extreme. I can admit that. However, it is truly how I feel. Like, I really feel like when I hear your voice, I hear your soul, I see your character, and when I listen to whatever art that you're trying to put in front of me, I can't set those things aside and say, oh, it's just a song, or oh, it's just an album. I can't do that. And I'm really interested to hear how people who don't feel the way that I feel, how y'all do that? How do y'all do that? Like, how do y'all disregard who someone is but consume their product? Like, I just find that very strange. And how do you consume their product and not adopt some of the negative characteristics? So I'll give an example. In the beef, we saw people take sides. I didn't have to take a side, all right? Because if things overarchingly are like copacetic, I'm pretty objective until I can't be. And this is an example of where I couldn't be objective, right? So I guess with that said, I guess I kind of did take a side. I didn't take a side. I was anti-a-side. I'll put it that way. I was anti-a-side. I'd always supported Kendrick from day one. But long story short, like, the battle showed me more about our fan base and our fan culture than it did the artistry. Right? Like, again, I already knew some of this stuff about that other artist. I already supported Kendrick since when he came out, and he's consistent. Kendrick, for heaven's sake, is a Pulitzer Prize award winner, right? Like, that battle was like a chip on his shoulder, to be totally honest, and he got a lot off his chest, which I actually enjoyed, and he was very poetic about it, and very methodical about it, and very thoughtful about it, and I like that in artistry. He showed what I'm telling you. Like, when you're a true artist, your soul is within your work, right? However, when I looked at some other fans and how they were just really to what we call now in our day and age stand for this guy, like no matter what, it was, well, Kendrick this, Kendrick that, he's a bad person. I'm like, okay, let me hear you out. Where are you saying that he's bad? And there's not really been a good argument that I've seen. Now maybe y'all will blow my comments up. Tell me what's so bad about him and what's so great about the other guy, because I don't see it. And so with the news of this album coming out, and especially the news of some apparent bomb that's supposed to be on the album, no pun intended, like, I don't care. I don't care about it. You can miss me with that. And we'll see if anything rises above into the mainstream where I won't have a choice but to hear it, like what this artist effectively did his whole career. Like, you could not get away from this artist because of all the various ins and outs and things and the methodologies. And again, like I said, this will be a whole episode talking about, the observations I have about this one artist. So I won't waste your time with that. But I guess the moral of the story is, if you're interested in this apparent new Iceman album, let me know. Tell me why. Why are you so intrigued? We just heard, a product of work with, the Party Next Door album. Well, I'm going to call it the Party Next Door album that just came out. We just heard that. Now we're getting this. And now apparently we don't care about your bars, bro. That's how I feel, though, guys. You don't have to feel that way. Like, I literally would love for you to, tell me in the comments, is there something I should be excited about? Or maybe you can help change my mind. But right now, I'm not there. It's over my head. I really could care less. I can definitely care less about things that are to be said on this album. And what do y'all think about people who, I would say this, claim to be tapped in or have connections like Amal, apparently? I mean, him tweeting that this album that's not even out has a bomb tells me that, he's heard something already and he's trying to put teasers out. Like, what do y'all think about people who do that? Because I don't like it. If you're not going to tell us the full thing, because it's supposed to be under wraps, keep it under wraps. What are you doing? Why are you trying to build some type of intrigue? Because I'm going to be honest, I feel like that's where divisiveness comes, right? Are we speculating that there's something going to be said on the album, or is there something actually being said on the album? Because I recall during the battle, this same Maul, being the same person, talking about there was in one of the disses that this other artist had, there's gonna be I think he said a nuclear bomb. Which, what is this terminology with bomb? I don't like that. But anyway, he was saying that there was gonna be something in one of the disses, and I'm still waiting. because we heard the disses and nothing. I mean, there were things said that maybe one would think were scathing, but anything that was even potentially scathing was completely reaching. And the real bombs, again, come when you really kind of peek into someone's soul and make them look in the mirror, not insult them. Like, telling someone they're short when they're short, like, they know that already. We know that already. So, you know, I just don't like the quote unquote, I'm an insider, I know something you don't know, there's something coming, you better be on the lookout or you'll miss it. And you know what, I'll miss it, and then y'all will talk about it again, and then we'll bring it here. When they talk about it again, y'all, we'll bring it here to the channel, and we'll talk about it. We'll pick it apart, we'll dissect it, we'll do whatever we want to do with it, or we won't. And say that we did. So, again, comment below if you heard about this new album coming out, and if you did, like, are you interested? Are you excited? Are you looking forward to it? Or you kind of feel more like me, where it's just like, okay, well, okay. So, anyway, guys, like, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this episode 4. Again, it has been so great chatting with you on this sunny Friday Eve. I really want to hear more from you. I want to know, what kind of radio talk show are you listening for? What kind of ride home do you want to have? Would you prefer it to be interactive with the trivia and all this other stuff? Or would you just kind of want to chit chat, listen, and holler at the speaker? Either is fine for me, but I cannot wait to be back for an episode 5 very soon. So tune in to the channel, keep up with the clips, share, comment, like, and subscribe for you, girl. All right, subscribe. So until next time, I appreciate you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for riding with Jess.fm. See you next ride.